What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's been coming out from the company itself, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is up 8.07%, $6.38 the low, $7.28 the high. So a lot of volatility, and I think in general, there's a couple things helping SoundHound move higher, one of which is they put out their own news. I'll go over in a second. Secondly, just the broader market is in full-on rally mode, and that's linked largely because of Bitcoin, and plus Nvidia did have their earnings very good, so that's having a lot of volatility. But 64.9 million for volume, 35.2 is the average. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000, so you are seeing a lot of buying. So ultimately, this is what caused it to spike. These entities right here is kind of what caused it to go down in combination with shorts, and then you have back to buying. So in general, a lot of attention coming from big money, and that's one thing that SoundHound's been somewhat hit and miss on. But ever since their earnings, you have seen a uptick in volume, an uptick in just institutions paying attention to it. So I really like this. So let me know your thoughts on that. But generally, this is the news that did come out today associated to SoundHound. So I think this is good. Is this a reason to drop what you're doing and buy a SoundHound? Not so much, but I think this is another layer of foundation on why SoundHound's going to be the next big thing. And ever since their earnings, like you can tell, at least big money based on a lot of the questions coming from analysts, they're very curious about SoundHound, and I get it. Things aren't really to the same degree for margins as a lot of the bigger AI players, but you got to admit that SoundHound, based on everything that they've done, it should be at least double digits. And if things were going according to plan and they had the same level of margins, then this would be easily at $15. But I really do like SoundHound, and I did launch a Patreon, and I've been signaling buying opportunities on stocks, crypto, options, and this one I did state on the 13th that this was a very big deal, and in my opinion, given everything, it should be at that $10 range. And honestly, I think even what has happened today is kind of frustrating because of shorts. So like I said, this kind of downtrend right here was somewhat unjustified, but it was shorts. At the end right here, they actually did kind of somewhat admit defeat. So currently they are returning 287,000 shares. 24.65% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 80.83 million shares. So the only reason why SoundHound is where it is, price point level, because of shorts. So they are very strategic in killing momentum. So they did try today, but they clearly lost their asses because the broader market is just in rally mode. But most likely, this is also them trying to really suppress it. So we'll just have to wait and see what they do at the end of the day. If you're looking for kind of more day-to-day updates on SoundHound, take a look at my Twitter. I can easily post screenshots of this just so you're aware of it. But cost to borrow average 17.5, and then utilization is 92.9. So let me know your thoughts on that. But one thing I do want to bring up is options. 8.94 million in calls, 849,000 in puts. So it doesn't seem like all that much, but in comparison to a day-to-day for SoundHound, that's rather high. 51% of all the options being done today are optimistic and bullish. And I use unusual whales as my options information, and they're very good for that. And there was one notification that I did get conveniently for SoundHound, and it was this right here. So for November the 29th, there is a very large expectation for it to be above $8. Why? I'm not really sure. Maybe just more of a continued positive momentum, but big money dropped a lot of money and thinks it's going to be above $8. So something, again, you do what you want with that information, but based on the call options that are being purchased today, you do see that obviously it is a good consensus for it to be above $8 by this week, possibly next week. And then you have kind of some optimism for it to be above $8.50 by December. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub $6.50. So in my opinion, a lot more upside is anticipated based on all of that. Quickly popping over to IBKR, I'll give you a quick overview of what the technicals are saying and everything. So as of right now, I do have the ALMA, 50, 100, 200-day moving average, super trend, stochastic RSI, and MACD. So MACD is somewhat neutral for that. Stochastic RSI, you kind of see it oversold. So generally that's fairly positive. So it does mean it has a lot more room to essentially run up. And it struggled with the $8 range recently at the beginning of November. But if it is able to get above that, then this is where you could see, in my opinion, that double digits and stuff like that. So quickly going over here, the latest analyst ratings ever since their earnings. You have one that was 7 days ago, H.C. Wainwright, Scott, $8 buy rating. And then aside from that, though, you have a couple others. I did bring these ones up, I believe, in my last video dedicated to SoundHound, so nothing really crazy for that. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. But when it comes down to where it is right now at $7, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So $6.75 is going to be that strong support. And then $7.43 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, followed by $7.85 and then $8.53. Elliott Wave technicals as of right now are projecting for it to hit roughly around that $9 range as well in the short term. So yeah, I think there is still a lot more room for SoundHound to go up. And I think the broader market, just very, very optimistic, is definitely helping. One thing that I think maybe SoundHound should possibly think of, or thinking of doing, is similar to LQR, and a couple of other companies have done similar nature something, and that is converting a lot of their cash and cash equivalents to Bitcoin for part of their reserve. And it's interesting and a very interesting idea, but it's also piggybacking off of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency FOMO. And so I think if SoundHound was to do that, that could be that point to really push it above obviously $10 or something like that. I don't know if that's feasible, bigger picture, or if that's just kind of riding the crypto train, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is definitely something that SoundHound possibly could think of. So let me know your thoughts. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with SoundHound? And one thing I do want to share with you though, like I stated, I do have a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto, and they have been absolutely killing it. So pop over there, link in the description below and also the comments, and let me know your thoughts on that. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.